Mr. Gunnar, yes! Let's talk some products and industry. From the pool to the booth with Gunnar from Indianas. Gunnar, tell us a little bit over the year, the pump foiling. You were just pumping around, helping some kids out. How has that been? How's that the development there? We had the big pump foiling weekend. Let's talk about that for a moment, and what's your take?
Well, I mean, this week and last weekend at the boat has been amazing. That pump contest was sick. It's amazing to see all the youngsters like going super fast, racing on the pumping. It was great to see them on like smaller foils and to see what's actually possible. Like a year ago, we couldn't imagine that anybody would be dock starting like an 800 square centimeter foil and be still under control, going around buoys and having all that fun on it. So I'm really stoked to see that. And now like also we're like having a lot of people interested in learning and like teaching. Like just now I was helping some of the kids and so on, just get some of the basics down, how to jump on the board, just trying to make it safe for them to learn. I'm super stoked that there's still so much interest after all these years. If you remember, I think the first time I was in the pool here with me and Steve Fleury learning like in 2020 at the boat just before COVID, we were just experimenting like how does this work, just throwing in the boards, jumping after it and so on, and then to see how far we've come in pretty much 5 years is amazing. Yeah, amazing stuff. And you're not only one of the shapers for Indiana, you're also athlete and resident of the Canary Islands. So how does that all tie in together? Like you as an athlete, you do a lot of wing foiling, which is part of Indiana as well with the boards. How was your wing foiling year on that note? It was okay. I pretty much threw myself into development. I recently separated, so I spent most of my year I didn't do any competitions. I just concentrated on getting my life sort of back in order and just cracking down and into development. All of last year I spent a lot of time developing the new high aspect foil for Indiana, the Barracuda. That was sort of my new baby that I sort of had space in my workshop again. So I just then started pumping out new prototypes one after the other and really just making an awesome foil. And spending a lot of time actually in waves and so on, a little bit less racing than I used to do, and a lot more wave and a lot more freestyle. And I've also figured out how to start pumping at home, which has always been a bit of an issue. We're not allowed to go from the docks into harbors. They're a bit strict on the Canaries. So I managed to build myself a little bit of a ladder and figure out a nice spot where I could actually dock start from the ladder to sort of get my chops up there and also test like the pump boards and the pump foils.
So cool, man. Pump foiling, wing foiling. We see more and more downwind foiling is a big topic. We see guys like Paul Smuller downwind foiling on lakes, and of course the Canaries are an epic downwind destination. What's happening in the Canaries as far as the growth of downwind foiling?
It's growing quite nicely. On Fuerteventura there is a nice group that have developed. There's like 6 or 7 of us, like just in the north. The Moreno sisters are quite involved in that, and quite a few of my friends are there. I spend a lot more time like alone because I typically, like I said, I have a daughter, so I have to choose my times when I go out. So I do a lot of morning sessions and so on when the wind's right, but they're doing a lot of group sessions and so on. What's really helped me sort of test all our downwind gear is parafoiling, like the para-winging. So that's allowed me to not have to rely on somebody else with another car, so I can just essentially go to my main spot, that's Flag Beach, put up the para-wing and just shoot up like 10 kilometers upwind and then do a downwinder from there, which has allowed me to test the downwind boards and especially the downwind foils without having to worry about the logistics of a normal downwinder.
Well, wait a second, that's maybe an off-camera topic. You're doing 10 kilometers upwind with a para-wing?
Yeah.
Whoa, okay, we're going to have a separate video on that, which of course my next topic was the whole para-wing thing. Is the wing in danger because of that?
I don't think it's in danger. Para-winging is a very different sport. But we have to see where it goes. What para-winging really excels at is essentially giving you the chance to downwind without having the necessary skills to paddle up, and also the energy and the logistics of downwinding. You know, like I said, having to have at least 2 people that have a car parked downwind and upwind, and and if something goes wrong, you get separated. It all, it's a logistically hard thing. So what it will actually do is actually take a bit away from more of the downwinding, the paddle downwinding, and from winging. It'll take those people who use winging more as a downwind sport. It will.
This guy here.
Yeah, exactly. So you will actually enjoy para-winging more because you have nothing in your hand. Once you are on that wave, on that swell, you pack down that para-wing, shove it in your pouch. and then you're free. You don't even have a paddle in your hands. It's almost even better than downwind paddle foiling. So I think those riders will go on to from winging onto parawinging.
Gotcha.
But those guys that are like jumping, going fast, wave riding in really big waves and so on, that's still going to be with the wing.
Cool. And now circling back to Indiana here, how do you see the positioning of Indiana and your input in the product development to harness all those future trends that we've just talked about?
I mean, we've always been fairly early with our sort of products. When winging came around, we were the first brand to actually make proper wing boards that weren't just modified subfoil boards and so on. So we've already been prepared a little bit for the parawinging, for example. For example, the new Flow free wave boards, I've actually been parallel testing them wing and with the parawing quite a lot, just to make sure that they work for that, and sort of tweak the shape a little bit for that. And for sort of the light wind parawinging, also our sort of compact mid-length boards are really geared to work very well with that. So we're very prepared for when the parawings start becoming like really mass available, that we have the boards for the people.
Gotcha. And in terms of pump foiling, real quick, also?
Oh, definitely.
Definitely. I mean, like, you got this condor wing that is like amazingly large, but now, as you said, the pump foil wings are getting smaller.
Exactly. We've got pump foil wings for everybody. We've got multiple projects that are essentially running. Like on one side, we're trying to get very good beginner gear. So especially for this year, we've got like the Manta XL that is geared towards beginner, the complete kit for that, an aluminum mast and heavy duty fuselage. And we've got like a really safe stabilizer on the Manta. It has like actually even not just rounded tips, they're actually fattened up so that there's much less chance of getting a cut if you fall on the foil. So we've really pushed on that foil that it's really safe to start, not so much on the performance but safety. And then on the Condor range, besides that world record massive Condor XL, we've got the Condor M and the S. And the Condor XL is actually pretty good for beginners too, especially people who've done a little bit of a course, they can easily progress onto the Condor XL. But for lighter riders especially, the Condor M for learning, we just actually had a girl who just learned, Vince gave her like a short lesson, and she was doing better on the Condor M than she was doing on the bigger learner foil that she was on before. So the Condor M is exceptionally good for like lighter riders and girls to learn on too. So we're super stoked that that's worked pretty well too. And then on the high performance side, our Barracuda range, that high aspect foil, that is like the favorite of all our young team riders, like Rob von Roll, his brother, Linus and so on. Those guys are like super stoked on the Barracuda because that's fast, it's super glidey. The big size, like the XL, is actually pretty easy to dock start, and it's got damn good speed. And then you got Rob on the M and his brother like on the S, like which is like 500 square centimeters. Dock starting, and they're like, yeah, this is awesome. So
wow. Well, you guys see things are moving and shaking here thanks to Gunnar, athlete, board shaper, and overall waterman, Canary Islands. Thank you guys so much. We'll see you in the next video.